Right, so I'm going to do a quick blog using Louise's sat-nav thing here, so I hope this is alright. She just asked a question about the number 108. We've just come back from something in town and they spoke about doing 108 sun salutations on the day of yoga and how that interrelates into yoga. They actually spoke about this number quite a lot and never really explained it and stuff. So, lovely Louise, if you can see her there. Hello. She asked me to explain it, so I'm going to do kind of my version of it. Now, the depths to this number 108, from kind of my reading and research, goes right the way through kind of all the early Hindu stories and the Vedic stories. I'm not going to go into that stuff. I'm going to kind of look at it, or try and explain it from a point of view of how yoga interrelates into science and how yoga interrelates into cosmology, because that's my kind of thing, and I kind of think it makes it a little bit more scientific and stuff. So, the number 108. So, according to kind of the yogic system, yoga could essentially be seen as a sensory experience of the universe. So it's a way in which we can communicate and interpret or experience the universe in the way the universe can experience us. That interrelates into consciousness and cosmology and sacred geometry and all sorts of stuff. Now that's really, if we look at it, just another way of saying what science is saying at the moment. Science is saying that we all come from one indefinitely small point, i.e. the Big Bang, and that everything that exists in our reality is interrelated and interconnected. We can go into entanglement theory, we can go into gravitational waves, we can go into all that sort of stuff that's constantly now being brought to the forefront, but the crux of it all is that everything's connected. Everything came from one indefinitely small point. We are the universe is us. Now yoga, that's what the yogic system is really based upon. The yogic system and the original yogis were cosmologists and brain scientists, you know, as far as what we understand their interpretations of stuff. And obviously spirituality and religion then drew out of that, Jainism and Hinduism and all that sort of stuff. And again, I'm not going to go into that. Whoa, that was a nice little break. I'm not distracting you, am I? No, you're right? No, cool. Going nice and slow, so we're not going to cause any crashes, don't worry. I've tried to explain this already, so she's heard my ramblings anyway. So yeah, now how do those two fields kind of relate to this 108 thing? So before I digress any further, so the yogic system is based on 72,000 nadis. The nadis are our energy systems that pass through the body. They can be subtle energy, electrical impulses, our blood vessels essentially could be seen as that, but waves of energy that pass through us. And where these kind of subtle energies intercede, we have our chakras. Some of you may have heard of that, and there are 114 chakras. Get my maths right. 114 chakras, two of which operate outside of the body, and then a further 4 which we don't really have any control of and we don't really need to work on. They just are as they are. They're from our kind of primordial innate beginning. That leaves the number 108, and according to yogic philosophy, if we work with these 108 and practice yoga, practice meditation, or work within some form of version of on these 108 chakras, then we get to experience everything that life has to offer. We get to experience the universe, we get to experience forms of enlightenment, we get to experience ourselves. How that relates back to science, quite bizarrely, and remember this, all this kind of knowledge has come from a time when we didn't have powerful telescopes, you know, we didn't have we probably did have the mathematicians back then, but we didn't have the study-based evidence that we can have now, where we can understand astrological patterns and cosmological patterns. However, they still came up with this number 108 and kind of all this theory behind it. And the amazing thing about this number 108 is that it occurs particularly within our solar system, but also within our galaxy, and right the way through the universe. Actually, this number 108 pops up. The way it pops up most prevalent to us is that the Earth, for the distance between the Moon and the Earth, is approximately 108 times the diameter of the Moon. The distance between the Sun and the Earth is approximately 108 times the diameter of the Sun, and the Earth fits into the Sun 108 times approximately of the Earth's diameter.
Wow.
So everything's interconnected. It's quite amazing, isn't it? Yeah. So, and you can go, well that's just an amazing, bizarre coincidence. Even if it is, it still kind of alludes to the understanding of where the Vedas were coming from, where this number 108 comes from. and that if we work on experiencing or work on these subtle energies that are within us, these chakra systems, these 108 junctions which we have within ourselves, then we get to experience the universe, our surroundings, life, our reality, and our reality experience us. I've probably confused you all. I'll leave some notes and I'll do a further video when I'm not being driven around to explain a bit more.